Level 90, small business, big dreams. Magina seems inordinately eager to speak with you. Lizathi, welcome, welcome. I am Magina, assistant shopkeep and apprentice seamstress here at Taru's boutique. Doubt you remember my face, as I am merely one of many who owe you our lives, but you will always have my gratitude for saving me that day on the Eblin Rhyme. You were too kind, and while I hate to ask aught more of you, please say that you're here to assist in Mistress Tataru's new endeavor. Not yet, but she soon shall be. Whatever would we do without your penchant for turning up precisely when you're needed, eh? Now, to make the long story of our solvency short, we've secured the resources to produce the new designs I developed in cooperation with guilds near and far and in sufficient quantity to meet rising demand. We cannot rest on our laurels, however. To serve passing adventurers and the occasional intrepid Charlian is all well and good, but we are hardly taking the world by storm, no. Much like yourself, we must ever look to new horizons. Scions prove that cooperation on a star-wide scale is possible, and we would be fools not to capitalize on that to build the grandest trade network in the history of Heidelin, all for the greater good, of course. Yes, this is a wonderful opportunity to bring people together. I often think back to that incredible moment when the Garlean army came to our rescue. Perhaps our efforts, too, will one day lead to a miracle like that which took place on the Eblin Rhyme. I have no doubt that they shall, but we mustn't expect such alliances to form themselves. We must be proactive, and who better to woo our future partners in commerce than our current #1 customer, you. Our erstwhile comrades in arms know that when it comes to good equipment and better ideas, few have such keen eyes as our adventurer extraordinaire. Even should they hesitate at first, I'm certain you can convince them using the samples I prepared. Well, I see that my mind is made up. You'll cover my aetherite expenses. Of course, with your assistance, we'll have both coin and goodwill flowing in no time. Everything is falling into place. Where shall we send Zilly first? Wahaha, don't you worry, I have it all planned out. First, Limza Lamenza. Sicard has the bloody executioners working harder than ever, so he is sure to appreciate any extra supplies. Next, Gridania. The Seed Seers are a source of trusted authority and insight into the Shroud, so we'd not go amiss in cultivating the investment of, say, Arun Senna. I hear tell that he has some interest in affairs abroad, so the novelty of our samples may persuade him to our side. As for Ulda, I feel confident pinning our hopes on Pippin. He's always been a stalwart ally, and it goes without saying that he has more than a little sway in the Sultanate. Between his involvement with the Immortal Flames, the Syndicate, and the Colosseum, he's bound to find a use for quality accoutrement. That out of the way, Magina, would you do the honors? Never let it be said that Tataru is stingy with her samples. Now, if you make your way to Limza and climb aboard the Astalicia, I'm certain someone will point you in Sicard's direction. I have my own avenues of inquiry to attend to, but I'll check in periodically to see how your journey is coming along. Let's get to it. Tataru's grand endeavor. I've gotten her to pick up my aetherite expenses. Hi, I recognize you. What do you want? As long as it's not about another bloody apocalypse, I don't see why not. Wait here. Well, bugger me. Thought we'd seen the last of you for a while. What brings you aboard? Crew seems busy. Can I interest you in some fine garb today? Wait to the pitch. Your sales pitch needs some work, but I see what you're getting at. We're already traveling halfway across the world every half moon. May as well earn a little extra for our trouble, eh? You know, there was a time I thought pirating was the whole world, that being the best of them all meant something. Going to Ilsabard made me see how small my world was compared to the real one. Standing next to the star's finest, I started to wonder what I had to brag about. Then the bloody executioners went and did me proud by bringing in a bigger goddamned haul of adamantite than anyone else in the realm. Between that and the new metal works we've got going with the kobolds and the Sahagin looking to export their own wares, it seemed like the right time for the executioners to change our sails, so to speak. This is all to say that if you've got wares for promoting, I'd be happy to show them off across the realm and beyond. Masterworks from Tataru's boutique, guaranteed by the Warrior of Light herself. Almost seems a waste to wear them. Folk would be lining up at the docks for these. Literally seeing as old Charlian's only accessible by sea, now if we got ourselves an exclusive shipping contract. Aye, I see the course clear as day. Now we just need Manelaine on board. He's right useless when there's work to be done, but talk's another matter, and he still owes me one for keeping his sorry ass out of trouble, so I'll have to have him put me in touch with a few savvy salesman types on the continent. Tell Tataru I look forward to setting sail on his new tide of hers. May the winds of change guide us all right. Silly, it's me. How goes our little venture thus far? Oh, Sicard's eyeing the shipping routes, is he? All according to plan. But our work has only just begun. I'll keep after my own contacts while you work on Arun. I hear he's not often in the city, but I don't doubt that Mother Mion can sniff him out. Why, if it isn't Zililazade, struck with a sudden craving for eel pie, were you? Or is it information you fancy? Oh yes, word of our seed seer's comings and goings never fails to reach my ears. I'm told that ever since he returned from his foray to Ilsabard, he's been roaming back and forth between our neighboring tribe settlements and the Lotus Stand. You'll miss him if you make for one or the other, like as not, so I suggest you waylay him at the Blue Badger Gate. Raining. Already wet. Curious. Might I ask why you're loitering the gates, and with such an enormous sack? I admit you piqued my interest. To integrate the tradition and ingenuity of guilds throughout Eorzea in such a fashion is no small feat. As it happens, I'm of the mind to do something similar myself, assuming I secure the other Seed Seer's approval. You are doubtless aware that historically Gridania has placed the peace of the Twelves Wood and are confident with the elementals above all else, often to the detriment of our relationship with other peoples. Yet much as we are one with the Shroud, we are not also part of the Star Entire. Our ventures into Garlemald made plain the strength of the world united. This attire you carry demonstrates much the same truth. But perhaps you assumed you would need to talk me round to the idea. If so, I apologize for the disappointment. If 'tis any comfort, I'm nearly as surprised myself. No longer am I content to hear the words of the elementals alone. I wish to know the voices of men, though our time in Garlemald has shown me that my ability to listen is average at best. These horns may mark me as gifted in the Twelveswood, but beyond they inspire neither fear nor awe. I have been mistaken several times for a Zayla, and may as well be one, for all the difference my status as Seed Seer makes to those who want for succor. Yet 'twas the self-same insignificance that allowed me for the first time in my life to truly feel part of the greater whole. I am but one life among myriads upon this star. I dare say I should behave accordingly. With luck, my elder sister shall agree. Tell Mistress Tataru that her gift is accepted with gratitude and she ought to hear from us soon. Guess who? Did you speak with Arun yet? That sounds promising. I'm beginning to understand what makes our Seed Seer friend tick. But we can discuss that later. You need to catch Pip and ere his duties take him from Ul'dah once more. I believe he spends much of his time at the Colosseum, so perhaps you should pay a visit to the Gold Court. I'll be awaiting your full report at the boutique. Thinking Pugilist Guild for some reason. I see. Marshal Terrapin is currently engaged in another meeting, but I shall tell him that Zillia awaits his convenience. My apologies for keeping you waiting. I did not expect you to hear this morning. Tataru is offering quality material, is she? I can hardly say no to that. It fits almost too perfectly with my plans for the flames. I have long striven for mastery of the blade. I required the trials of Ilsabard, however, to truly see Tizona for what it is. Fire that warms the coldest night, the spark that ignites a blaze of hope, and, most of all, an unbreakable testament to Father's faith in me. More ally than tool, it is a treasure beyond price. Does every soldier of the immortal flames not deserve allies such as this, arms and armor to remind them of what they fight to protect, to help them stand when they might otherwise fall? Indeed, works made possible only through the ingenuity and dedication of allies across the star may be just the sort of inspiring armaments we need. I anticipate that I will be sending along an order for custom equipment ere long. In the meantime, would you mind if I use these samples for a few trials here at the Coliseum? My thanks, we shall put them to use immediately. As a child of Ul'dah, however, naught strikes fear into my heart like the prospect of receiving valuable goods for free. I must insist you accept something in return. I had been meaning to give that necklace to Tataru. Its poor condition aside, she might rather have it not. I have spoken with Tataru at some length about our past, you understand. In many ways, we are quite similar. You may recall her family was bankrupted when she was very young, a consequence of her father's business failing. They were forced to put all their wealth toward paying off his debts and then some. One asset they reluctantly parted with was a necklace treasured by her mother, for which Tataru has long searched to no avail. Strangely enough, I recently discovered jewelry of the very same description amidst a store of neglected Colosseum prizes. Assuming it is the same piece, I should like to see it returned to her. It is significantly worse off for having changed hands, though, and only the sapphire centerpiece remains unlost and undamaged. I may appreciate the sentiment nevertheless, but it's difficult to say. What do you think? Memories it holds for her aren't lost or damaged. Could it be repaired or perhaps remade? Memories. True enough, though if it's to be a gift, I would prefer to at least clean it up a bit. In that case, I had considered asking the Goldsmiths Guild, but you ought to be able to turn the necklace into a piece that Tataru would wear, if not precisely what she remembers. I imagine you will have the opportunity to pick up gems and other suitable materials on your travels. There it is merely a matter of unifying the pieces. Are you willing? And I will have the sapphire removed from its setting and sent to the boutique with all haste. I doubt even Tataru would dare open a private package addressed to you. Best of luck in finding matching materials, and in your mercantile endeavors, of course. May the traders guide you to fortune fair. Back to old Charlene. You've returned, with your bag all the lighter for having given away our samples, I hope. Speaking of which, a parcel from one Pippin Terrapin arrived not bells ago, addressed to you. Could it be that our newfound partnerships are already bearing fruit? Her mother's necklace? Why, that's a wonderful idea. Please allow me to assist. I swear I won't breathe a word of this to Mistress Tataru. I do wonder what parts you will need. Do you know what style Mistress Tataru prefers? This necklace is to be a keepsake. Why not focus on that? Apologies. I could not help it over here. That's quite all right, but do please keep your voice down. What was it you were saying? It simply occurred to me that, since you were gifted the sapphire so readily, our other partners in this endeavor may wish to offer up something for Mistress Tataru as well. Such gifts, she could turn the necklace into a memento of not just her past and its trials, but her present successes as well. That's perfect. Our plans for the boutique proceed apace. We should soon have more than enough tokens from friends across the seas. What do you think? Well, well, were you waiting for a little old me? Mistress Tataru, we were, just discussing the successful delivery of the samples, yes. Good to hear. How fares dear Pippin? I knew he would come through, though I admit I wasn't expecting to outfit a whole host of immortal flames quite so soon. Suppose it goes to show that even the most hardened warrior can always learn a thing or two. And Sicard and Arun have changed as well, if your tales are any indication. I imagine their personal growth bodes well for that of our network. Thank you for checking up on them. We must sort through our current commissions before deciding who to approach next, but I know I can count on you to be ready when we are. Level 90, Small Business, Big Dreams, complete. Level 90, Soaring Profits. Medina has samples that need delivering, and the anticipation of adventure strikes you like a bracing wind. Why, hello there. Your arrival could not have been more timely. Mistress Tataru has but just left instructions for another batch of deliveries. She sends her regards, of course. Today she is in Idleshire for business with the Rowena's House of Splendors, and tomorrow will no doubt find her in some other far-flung corner of the realm. We mustn't be outdone. This time, our samples are destined for 2 organizations in Kurthis, an arrangement made possible by none other than Master Sicard. He contacted his dear friend Lord Manelaine de Fortance, who was kind enough to spread word of the boutique to his own contacts across Ishgard. It hardly took any time for the first letter of interest to reach us, and once these samples have been delivered, that interest will be piqued to a passion. Or so I've been assured. Lord Manelaine has insisted he will take care of all the particulars and bid me convey with enthusiasm that he looks forward to accompanying you on the deliveries. Now then, regarding that secret mission of ours. Gorgeous sapphire, is it not? It will make a beautiful necklace once restored, a keepsake of not only Mistress Tataru's mother, but that of her many friends and allies from across the realm. I am confident that someone of your experience has a most discerning eye for mementos. Bring back anything you think will make a worthy addition. And with that, I will leave these samples in your capable hands and eagerly await your safe return. All right, Fish Guard. Sure. Silly old girl, 'tis good to see a rosy glow in your cheeks, considering that dreadful business with the imminent destruction of mankind and the end of times and whatnot. Yes, indeed. Who better to distribute exquisite arms and accoutrements than a bona fide hero such as yourself? Well, I have 2 parties with simply ravenous interest in your products, dear lady. First of whom so happens to be a rather exquisite herself, my dearest Lady Lanyette. Be so good as to precede me to the Rose House. I shall be along promptly, of course, just as soon as I'm coiffed and powdered. Go fix his hair. Fancy pants. Well met. 'Tis good to see you, hale and whole. Thank you for personally making the trip. I know your obligations are many. Truth be told, your arrival could scarce have had better timing. While our erstwhile troubled relations with the Vanu improved by the day, we have been forced to reconsider our current munitions due to recent incidents of... I have come, my darling Blossom. Behold, Emmanuel the Executioner, here to smite your foes with ruthless ardor. What a warrior. Well, I strike a rather smashing silhouette, do I not? Why, Sakari could not have found a better man to gift these samples to. Surely such splendid armor could be put to better use than fashion, Lord of Madeleine. Could I not prevail upon your better senses to relinquish that gear to those who might appreciate its practicality? Or be it from me to deny any request of yours, Lady Lynette. Only I must confess that I may have slightly exaggerated Sicard's generosity in the matter of gifting these. Ah, you mean to say you borrowed them, no doubt without his knowledge or consent. And why should I have expected otherwise? Friends may forgive, but it bears repeating that your clients deserve at least a modicum of professionalism. You do have other clients, don't you? Of course I have, and no little celebrity at that. You remember the Red Bills, of course. The Sky Pirates? Yeah, okay. Sky Pirates? That an experienced adventurer should know them hardly surprises me, but how does a privileged son of House Fortin come to make their direct acquaintance? It was a happy coincidence of ale and circumstance, I assure you. As Illy here can attest, an unbiased range of social contacts is the essential arsenal of not just adventurers, but any gentleman of consequence, or lady of consequence, as it were. Unbiased is all very well, but Sky Pirates are precisely the problem I was speaking of earlier, before we were interrupted. Recently, self-proclaimed Sky Pirates have been marauding trading vessels with troubling audacity. Even the Sky Steel Manufactory has reported stolen property at the hands of these ruffians. Troubling news indeed, though I cannot imagine fellows as amicable as our Red Bills could be responsible. Still, if we should hear aught of it, I shall send word directly. Now then, off we trot to the infamous Parrot. I've been told to seek out a certain red standard upon Coldwind. How the pulse quickens. Oh, we're already here. Okay, what? I'm like lost. Fly to the Parrot, yeah. Where do we need to go again? Well, if you ain't the very picture of health, saving the star from complete annihilation didn't tax you over much then, eh? Let me guess, it was not compared to all the bowing and scraping required of the mercantile genteel. Don't tell me this dandy is what wooed you from the life of sweet nothings of financial comfort. Leofard, my good man, you know as well as I that Only one wooing Zilly into anything is yourself. Don't think your interest in our mutual friend here escaped my notice. Your aim all along was less about armaments than it was an audience with Zilly, was it not? Yeah, not bad for a dandy, I might have had me sights on a touching reunion between Zilly and myself, but that's not to say I won't be needing those samples. See, I have a job that could right benefit from both your keen sense and those pieces you brought me, so long as they're half the quality of what a Manolane was showing off in the alehouses anyway. I can count on your participation, yes. You'll be duly compensated, of course. Just name your price. Parts of a necklace for Tataru herself, eh? I'd have preferred something you might make use of. But far be it from me to dictate what a woman does with her booty. If that's your recompense, I'll see what I can do. Now that we have you on board, allow me to elaborate. It seems another band of petty thieves has been masquerading as sky pirates and harrying honest traders as of late. You've heard of them. These so-called monstrous cockatoos don't exactly strike fear into the hearts of man, but they're being a right nuisance, and now they've gone and made things personal. You remember the Ramil, don't you? The captain's old airship? Well, after what happened in Dunscaith, we've been commissioning the finest airship parts from across the realm for the construction of her successor. Only to have those cockapert nincompoops pillage the very Sky Steel manufactory vessel that was carrying our precious cargo. The nerve of some people, eh? Makes me mouth water. Of course, once the cockatoos realized whose property they pilfered, they flew into a panic and holed up in Idleshire after stashing the goods somewhere. This is where you and your samples come in. We want you to take Leofard and... Before you spill the rest, Stasia, let me make sure our friend here is still up for a spot of fowling. How about it, then? My mercantile genteel is at your service. I have been craving some game bird lately. I knew I was right to call you. Those downy ducklings won't know what plucked them. Quite so. Zilly returning our crew complete. Victory over these ne'er-do-wells is most certainly assured. Kill him, Kashi. By the by, would you have any terrible objections if I inform the Rose Knights of your designs upon these charlatans? Knights are affiliated with House Hollyanart. You see, thus have particular interest in recovering the contents of the Sky Steel vessel. I know my most capable Lady Lynette simply will not rest until she has brought these scoundrels to justice. Can't say it's an alliance I've ever considered, but so long as I get all the cuckatoo I'm due, our knights most thorny are welcome to catch and cage as they see fit. Splendid. Lady Lynette shall be very glad to hear of it, overjoyed even. Yes, she may simply be unable to contain her unbounded delight. I must away. Not awaiting us in Idleshire, but danger and subterfuge. But such is more tempting and to our ilk than lovely knights, eh? Let's be off. I'll explain the rest our gambit once we get there. Who's the dandy now, you ask, eh? I reckon my reputation precedes me in these parts, and the legendary Red Bell Leofard ain't known for togs like these. I could get used to this, comfortable, practical, and with a sense of style to boot. Ain't often you find that holy triad in battle gear, quite the line you're touting. Brings us to your role in my master plan. While it ain't easy laying low in a motley place like Idleshire, these cock-a-hoop cowards have been managing it well enough. So to lure them out, we're going to spread savory rumors of a black market merchant looking to fence fine contraband for even finer coin. That's you. Strike up a chat with any adventurers or peddlers that seem like to share hearsay. I'll be playing your handsome bodyguard, so rest assured I've got your back, mistress. I'm taking the liberty of preparing your guys. It ain't as flattering as Leofard's, but you should fit the part nicely in this. Leofard is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side and continue wearing the black market merchant disguise in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Leofard behind by entering in a different area by speaking with him and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have Leofard accompany you again, return and speak with him in the original location. Speak with Stasia to restore or prolong the garment change. can... Yeah, we can mount. Inside. Jovial busy dealer. Oh, yes, yes. Gabi eye catches such sky stealers. Sky stealers come to claim busy deal at Craft Forge, but bring no trade goods for Jingly Shine. Great laugh joke for Gabi merchants. Sky stealers leave with grump face. Gabi does not understand why uplanders wish to trade tongue flaps with grumpy face sky stealers, but happy to handle in for more laugh jokes. Much obliged. If all goes to plan, we'll have you laugh joking over their sorry hides for summers to come. Merchant yourself, are you? Perhaps I'm overstepping, but consider this friendly advice. Seeking out sky pirates dressed in such stereotypical garb is akin to dangling a sign from your neck reading, "Purge my purse," or "The righteous red bills may pity you, dear lady, but few else." Righteous ain't never been to me liking, mate. I just can't abide them reprobates what don't honor the creed of sky pirate, and so you can imagine Red Bill Leofard might say, eh? Not that it's any matter of ours. Anyhow, should you find someone looking to offload or dubiously obtain merchandise, send them our way, will you? You insist, but don't say I didn't warn you. Contrabandist? Well, I do know of some sky pirates new to town, and just the other day I overheard them discussing their latest windfall. Oh, yes, just the sort of enterprising folk we're looking for. You think you could help us pin them down? I do what I can. I'm no stranger to sky pirates, so I'll ask around. Especially regarding that formidable ally they mentioned. Sky pirate or no, any newcomer of such repute is better identified sooner rather than later. I gotta go up though. So are we the talk of the town yet? As far as I can tell, you're strong contenders, perhaps second only to rumors about a mysterious intimidator who casts their lot in with the cockatoos. Only natural that those sniveling whelps hired a browbeater, but what thickhead willingly courts the rancor of Red Bill Leofard? Well, I suppose a few names come to mind, but no matter, our plan proceeds as discussed. Let's take to the streets and wait for our clients to come crawling, eh? Whoa there, are you the traitor looking chaffer with the monstrous cockatoos? Chaffer, with scrags like you, fury in me. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. That voice, Red Bill Leofard. As you live and breathe, not for long though, if you don't hand over what you and your dicky bird stole. Yeah, bless all you'd like, Red Bill, but you ain't getting the better of us this time. We've treated with a sky pirate that'll crush you to pumice. And there you were thinking this would ever be ever so simple, were you not, my dear Leofard? Not in the slightest. I was thinking surely Radlia and her talons would never sink so low as to become lackeys to a lackey, but here you are. I might even start to pity you. And that is where you consistently underestimate me, Red Bill. I would stop at nothing to realize my desires, or were the sweet memories we made together in Dunscaith not enough to convince you of that? But I suppose I might be willing to overlook your stubborn indifference and return those stolen airship parts you so desperately seek if you would but call me your captain. Completing that airship means more to me than you'll ever understand. I ain't leaving here without me stolen goods. They're worth recovering, that is. You there, Cockalorum, you didn't leave that plunder in wind-aspected territory, did you? Of course you did. Head's as empty as a tosspot's tankard. Those airship parts are embedded with highly calibrated corrupted crystals. Put them in any contact with wind sprites and they're no better than glorified scrap. Wait a moment, he said contact, didn't he? How many wind sprites go contact in the rock formations on Providence, eh? It'll be fine. Tataru, you got your hands on an airship. Yes, take her to Providence and go pick up our stolen goods. Some genius hid them under a rock. You were bluffing? Obviously, don't make me doubt your intelligence, Radlia. What airship needs parts that can't handle a little wind? Doubt what you'd like, Leofard. I hardly need bloody airship bits to beat you into submission. Finally, it's beating time. Let me slip into something more comfortable. It's beating time. Silly? He's as in these Illy Lazathe, since when was she a friend of the Red Bills? Seems I'm not the only one whose name is worth something in these parts. I'm still prettier, though. Well then, sweet cockatoos, let's get about cutting you up into cocka-3s and 4s, shall we? Red Bill by himself is one thing, but Zilly's something else. Ain't nothing for it, lads. Flee for your lives. So much for monstrous. Let's leave them to the garrison. Ain't enough meat on their shivering bones to warrant the chase. Radley, I reckon this was little more than a diversion to you, but surely you didn't think I'd fold to such a weak hand. All the more pity that you assumed those airship parts were the only pieces of value taken from me and mine. No matter, it's time to make your allegiances clear. If you and your talons intend to continue this farce, then we'll have it out, here and now. Well, seems I misjudged my prospects. I had thought those simpletons might amount to more than sniveling turntails, but I have neither loyalty nor affection for useless cockatoo. Suppose I shall have to content myself with this reunion in itself, but you will need more than clever bluffs to evade me next time. Of that you may be certain. Those were some fine samples, without question, but nothing beats wearing me own rags again. Go ahead into the Parrock and wait for us in my chambers. We'll be along once I've spoken with our knights most thorny. Doo-doo-doo. Fly to the Parrot. I have to go all the way through. Well, Utata says all stolen property is accounted for and finishing touches on our airship proceed apace. According to the Rose Knights, the cockatoos will be shipped off to the Diadem where they can enjoy volunteering their services for the betterment of mankind. Speaking of which, Captain, what is to become of the miscellany recovered from the cockatoos' hoard? I am sure House Hawley and Art will lay claim to their possessions, but as for the appurtenances of origins unknown, right now, Puss, I don't pocket any jigabob I find like some petty foister. We'll track down their rightful places soon enough if my prediction holds. Tilly, is that you? It is, and you look quite as surprised as I feel to think we'd meet here among the clouds and sky pirates. I was just finishing up my affairs in Idleshire when who should come asking for me but Red Bill Leofard. Quite the thrilling twist to my day, I'll have you know. How did Amanelaine put it? She's got her fingers in more pies than a high street baker. When I got wind she was in Idleshire, it felt like snubbing fate not to enlist her expertise. I'm exceedingly glad you did, for I have returned triumphant. Allow me to present the famous traveling portraitess Duramare. Portraits, but of course, among the recovered items were a number of singularly beautiful paintings. Oh, I am relieved to hear. When I learned which vessel had fallen prey to sky pirates, I thought those pieces would be lost forever. So you are yet another victim of the monstrous cockatoos? Still, a personal summons to the Parrot seems like the sort of social nicety to which the captain is normally intolerant. I believe my presence here may have another purpose entirely. You see, Leofard and I are old acquaintances. He commissioned me to paint that portrait, in fact. My beautiful daughter, Ramil. She looks perfectly at home here. Beautiful daughter? I, Duramare, is father to Lady Ramil, the gentlewoman who cared for Leofard as a lad. He abdicated all family affairs to his son when he became a practicing artist, but he's still a lord in lineage. Mean to say that the renowned portraitist Duramare is not only your grandfather, but a former lord as well? Oh, you must forgive my blithe introduction from earlier. Not to forgive, Mistress Taru. On the contrary, I'm indebted to you for tracking him down so quickly. Thanks to you, this can happen just as I hoped it might. Construction's about finished on our new airship, and I wanted you here when I christened her. The Ramil will fly again. My dear boy, celebrating your mother's life with you continues to be my great honor. When you hung her portrait here, when you named your first airship, I could see the vestiges of her love shining in your countenance then, just as it is now. I only hope you continue to realize her greatest wish for you, to live as free and unfettered as the sky itself. I know she would be very proud. Bit like herding curls, ain't it? Getting us adventuring types all in one room, but well worth the effort, I'd say. Moments like these are meant to be shared. Right, I believe we've got a new airship to fly, and the open sky awaits. Now this is an airship. With how she handles, I could fly to the edge of existence and back without so much as a hiccup. To hear on good authority, or whatever authority a man is when he's in his cups, you have literally done. I reckon I've never been such equal parts awed and envious, though I'll assume the invitation was simply lost by a post-Moogle. Nay, in all candor, I'm certain there are some skies only meant for your eyes, escapades surpassing even my wildest imaginings. To chart the ends of eternity and horizons filled with peril, just don't think you've seen the last of what wonders these heavens hold. I can find you again before long, and I'll bring everything I always promise, a thrilling, heady rush of high adventure. Though farewell may be bitter sorrow, know that it is but fodder for reunions most gay. No need to get mawkish, furball, if it ain't as if Zilly's dropping off the face of the star, not permanently anyhow. We'll meet again soon enough, although Kachi is liable to mope like a damn kitten until we do. Expect these parts will be free of half-baked brigands for a time yet, but should you ever find yourself in need of a red bill, don't hesitate to call. Thank you. 'Tis no small comfort knowing our ships may distribute their wares in safety. As for you, we'll be in touch. Well, that was invigorating. While I'd love nothing more than to catch our collective breath over a cup of tea, business calls me to Ishgard. No rest for that enterprising and talented, as they say. Shall we, Durmar? Might I persuade you to accompany us? I should very much like to hear of your adventures. Painting subjects I find personally inspiring is a particular credo of mine, and I dare say you have brushed shoulders with more than a few individuals of note. Thank you for indulging an old man's eccentricities. Now then, perhaps you could begin with the adventures you shared with Leofard and his crewmates. Leofard intentionally offloaded this in our direction, yes? Whatever could it be? Show of goodwill from the Red Bills? Whatever it is, Leofard's a man of his word. How mysterious, but now that I think of it, Leofard did mention sending something along when he asked me to track down Duramare. Well, I would make quite the sight lugging this around to all my meetings, so might I ask you to hold on to it for the time being? I trust you not to run off with my share of the reward. Gift from the notorious Red Bills. You know they're rather a nice sort of sky pirate, don't you think? A bright and energetic young lady is your employer. I hope shepherding me back to Ishgard did not delay her business over long. Tales you shared on the journey here were beyond anything I could have anticipated. Never have I heard such inspiring episodes of daring do. I may not know them personally. I find myself fascinated by the individuals you described, the comrades and acquaintances of your journeys. Yes, I believe I shall remain in the capital to paint for a time. Should you desire a portrait, I would happily part with it for the cost of its supplies. Find me here and we can make the arrangements. Welcome back. I just received word from Mistress Tataru. What's this about portraitists and sky pirates? Red Bill Leofard gave you this for the necklace? Seems to be a leather strap of sorts, and an antiquated one at that. Wait a moment, I recognize this design from my studies. This is a relic of the ancient city of Mach. It is said that Magi sorcerers would weave these cords with magics to make them unbreakable. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better material for a necklace. Oh, Mistress Tataru will be so delighted. She chatted endlessly about how pleased she was to know the Red Bills and what sorts of products might prove useful to our daring new friends. And the Rose Knights have already placed an order for the garrison, so all in all, I believe our latest endeavor was a brilliant success. As always, we shall be on the lookout for new areas of opportunity, so I hope we can count on you to serve as our charming emissary again. In fact, I believe Mistress Tataru will insist upon it. Until next time. Level 90, Soaring Profits, complete. You may now purchase portraits from Duramare by speaking to him in Ishgard.